Hello and welcome to another episode of Invalid Entry. It's Monday the 2nd of November, you can see the big screen behind me. And today we're going to be looking at using the ANT protocol and ANT little dongle, these little things, to talk to the heartbeat monitor around my chest. Following on from last episode where I showed how to make a heartbeat monitor. In fact, if I switch to my main view right here, you can see actually that is the heartbeat monitor going up and down as we showed last time. And that will green screen on to the overlay really nicely. I'm not going to have my heartbeat running like I did last time because we're going to be playing around the ANT and I can't have two things accessing the dongle at the same time, otherwise madness will ensue. So I'm just going to plug that in straight away into my USB port. This is a bit of a hacker's guide to using OpenAnt, and if you're on a Mac you can just plug it in, install libUSB, you're fine, good to go. I'm not going to show you how to install libUSB, and I'm not going to show you how to do it on Windows either because it's probably going to change by the time you watch this video. The best thing to do is to go online. I'll put some links down below. You use a little tool to actually, you get the DLL for libUSB, but what you do is you plug your device in, and Windows, if you're on Windows, will go, I know the driver for this. And then you use this little tool to say, no, don't use that DLL, use the libUSB DLL instead. And that basically means libUSB our code can access it rather than the default devices. And you can flip it back later if you want to. Now be careful when you're using the tool. Make sure you select the right device. Make sure you select your ANT hub thing, because if you select something else like your keyboard or your hub or your webcam and flip to libUSB, that device stops working. So yeah, make sure you set the right device. You can flip them back, but save yourself the hassle and just take a second to confirm what you're doing. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm actually going to make a completely new file here because I'm actually going to show how to use libUSB. Now the second thing is OpenAnt does not install from pip. In that it's not on the PyPy library. I am going to send an email to the developer to put it on there, see if he wants me to do it for him. But at the moment you don't. So all you need to do is just grab that from the website. You can download it as a zip, download it from wherever. And I've got it downloaded here in the same folder. And then you can do pip install -e. And when you do -e, you just need to give the location to server file on disk. It means it's going to install from a file. And it's not going to take a copy. It's going to, the -e basically means install that. OpenAnt / in fact, there's the server. I can just do OpenAnt / that, and it finds it and it installs it because I've already got it installed. It's there. So with that in mind, we're going to crack on and we're going to get the heartbeat from my program. Now I found this isn't an in-depth guide to ANT. This isn't an in-depth guide to how these things work, but I am going to show you a couple of things just to get it working. So what we're going to do is use the easy method from ant.easy.node import node, and we're also going to need new that's going to be a capital N. Now I'm going to save this file as ant.py. Here we go. And then from time, I don't want time, from ant.easy.channel, yeah, import channel. No. It really wants me to get these spelled differently. I'm not quite sure why my ID is fighting me here. In fact, what I'm going to do just very quickly, Python ant.py. Ooh, did that install nicely? Should have done installed nicely. Have I got my thing in the right folder? Yes, I have. Ant is not a package. Oh, you know what I've done? I've called my thing ant, haven't I? Move ant demo.py. Don't call your module the same thing as another thing. It won't work nicely anyway. It works nicely there. See, not going to be any problems there. Stupid me. And also we're going to want message. .message import message. There we go. Now, what we're actually going to do is we're going to put this in a separate thread, and I'm going to backport this into the 5 program, and I might show you a third video actually. Also, I've just noticed I wear my pinstriped shirt, which means I'm probably going to get psychedelic things in the video. I have great fun on Zoom calls, just being really zoned out to my own shirt. It's one of my favourite shirts, this. Fun fact. What we're going to do is basically we have to define a function which will receive the data. So this is a callback function. So I'm just going to do print data in here. In fact, print data received. I before E, except after C. I'm sure there's more to that poem. Okay. And effectively, that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make another function because I'm going to write it as if it's a thread. So I don't actually want to do this in a separate thread because this will block. Okay, so def back thread, as in for background thread. Now, this, as I said, this is the hacker's guide to it, is going to be a little bit hacky. These things you need to know are hard-coded. You pull them off the internet, that's what the number is. That's what the network key is going to be, and we're not going to worry about it, okay? So, I pulled it off the internet, don't need to worry about it. Then we're going to define a channel, and we're going to put that on the node, new channel, and the channel type is a bidirectional receive. Again, don't worry about it. What we're going to say is that when you receive data, I want to call the other function. So channel.on broadcast data equals on data. So if you change the name of this function, you change it here. You don't do this, you're not calling it, you're saying I want to pass a reference to that function in, so it becomes a callback. So you actually pass the function pointer in. And channel.on burst data equals on data, because we don't care about the difference at this point. They're both going to go in there and both going to get data. Now again here, I'm going to set some more magic numbers. And I believe this period should be 16070. Online, people have a small number of 8070, but I found this works better. Don't know why. Just does set search timeout. Again, I put 20 in there. Other people use 12. Channel.set rf freak 57 is the value there. Again, don't ask why. And this is 120 naught. Again, hacker's guide here. We're doing what works. We're not asking why these magic numbers are. And this is the bit which backgrounds the thread. So try channel.open. Now what this does, just in case it throws an exception here, .stop. Okay, so I pass my node in here, and there's a reason I pass my node in here. So then this isn't going to do anything, the function doesn't do anything, I'm just going to make sure it's all syntactically good, nothing's really throwing an error. So node equals node, make a brand new node, and then x equals threading. Oh, I haven't imported threading. Threading.thread, and its target equals back thread. And args equals node. Like that. Start that background thread. Now, what you'll see here is you'll get these exceptions. Now, the easy mode basically will spawn a second thread and will catch the libUSB errors. So there's various libUSB errors that will happen. And basically, you're going to get these factors come in. And you get an array of data coming every time. So you're getting these data, and then you go operation timed out, and then it finds it again. So don't worry about it printing off these errors. It's just going to happen. Again, hacky mode, we're just going to worry about it. Now what's interesting is these values here are basically data from the garment, and they're actually accelerometer data as well. So if I jump up and down a bit, you should get some of the data. Now I don't actually know what the various numbers mean, but I do know the last number is supposed to be a heart rate. And what I found is it's a little bit dependent on how well seated it is on me, because my heart is not at 92 or 95. To counteract that, what you can do is you can apply a fudge factor to that value. So we will find that it had to be multiplied down by about 0.8 to match the heart rate on my wristwatch. And what's interesting is my wristwatch is telling me I have a heart rate of 95. So maybe I do have a heart rate of 95 and I just hadn't noticed. I don't have a heart rate of 95. cheap wristwatch. Try it with the Garmin. I do wonder what people find if they use better devices. It's coming down to 84 now. Don't really know. Maybe it was just temperature sensor. I don't know. Settling in. No, it's coming down to 82. So that's the value we want. So really, what we can now do is play around with up here. So what we want to say is data heart rate equals data, and really it's just that last number, which I happen to know is number 7, like that. So I can now get rid of that and just put heart rate in there. There we go. It's going to. The other thing is sometimes it doesn't work at all. Sometimes it. Oh, I don't want the data received yet. That's just going to annoy me continuously. There you go. There's a heart rate coming out. Nice and easy. Now let's put these two components together. Let's put this component and the other component together in a way that doesn't break. And we notice it hasn't. It doesn't. It sort of gets stuck on this dot start. It doesn't come out of this. And I think that may be a slight issue with the easy mode. Maybe there's a way of backgrounding this here. Maybe I should have actually passed that to threading. And maybe that actually makes more sense that you actually call threading background is node.start with no arguments. But that's how I use it. So I basically have this thread here. If an exception is thrown by the things, it basically just comes out fine. So I'm going to put this over to one side, and I'm going to incorporate this code into the code we had the other day. I'm going to just get rid of the sidebar for the moment. So I'm going to bring these variables at the top into my big array block, because I don't want them there. I'm going to grab my imports that I'm going to want, the new imports. And basically I'm just going to drop these functions in exactly as they are after the pygame in it, because after the screen initialization like that, because they're not going to do anything yet. Eventually, if this got bigger, I'd actually blitz into the screen initially before I just load the rest of the application. But I'm not going. I'm just going to take those 3 lines and I'm just going to drop them in here. Yeah, probably just before the while alive. Okay, there we go. So we've basically got configuration above that, and this is where we start. There we go. I'm actually not going to use this. I'm going to publish my number 4, which actually is tricked out with some more things. So I don't want that down. Python. Here we go. Python 5. Sometimes also if it doesn't like to connect. And if I get lots of these timeouts, I just cancel the program and start again. Okay, so it's picking up my heart rate, but my heart rate is completely unlinked from the heartbeat. This is still running at 1 beat a second. So now I want to link the two together. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do here is, the reason I put the node here is because I actually want the two. I get that error continuously now. When I quit here, I want node.stop. That's why I want a reference to it. Now, if you kill it too fast before it actually has started, then that's a problem. And here I want to do node.stop as well. Like that. There we go. And that should shut down the background thread nicely as well. Whew. Okay, so what we're going to do is, to get the value from in here, we could use a global variable. We're not going to. We're going to do it right. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to define a event. And the event we're actually going to define, I'm just looking up how to do it because I can never remember it. I'm going to use capitals for this, okay, because I can. I like my enums to be capitalized. So heart event type was pygame.event.custom type, and that registers it. It basically just gives it a number. It just gives it the next number of the queue. But here it means I can now actually do. I've got my heart rate come out. I can do event equals pygame.event.event heart event type, and then I'm going to pass in speed, and that's going to be heart rate. I don't want to print it. I now want to do pygame.event.post. I'm going to throw it at the queue. And this goes off about 1 second because that's the broadcast rate of my chest device, not anything else. Nothing else we put in there. So that's going to punt it onto the queue, which means down here it's going to pull it off the event queue. It's going to do nothing with it because it's not on that else list. So elif event.type equals heart. There we go. You can do bad shortcuts today. So I'm going to swap computer. Now it's pulled it off. What we want to do is get the speed equals event dot speed. Like that. It's that simple. I've now transferred it between threads really cleanly. Haven't interrupted the main thread. It will pick it on the next frame, so it will pick this up really rapidly. And what we're actually going to do is we actually want to change the time between pulses. Now the speed is not the time between pulses. The speed is in seconds. So if the speed, I've given this one free, is speed not equals naught, because sometimes you get a naught value come through when it's initializing or miscounted, and if you divide by naught, it doesn't end well. 60 over speed. So if the number is more than 60, this will be less than a second. i.e. if it's 120, you'll get 2 pulses a second. If the number is bigger than 60, like 30, you'll get 1 pulse every 2 seconds, which is right. Time between pulses is 60 over speed. Job done, which means it will now go into here and it will now react faster. Okay, so if we now do is we now, ooh dear, double equals, because we're in Python, thank you. Now when we run that, you're basically, it hasn't picked up yet, so it's still doing 1 a second. That's the default speed. I see it does this sometimes. All I want to do is just kill it. Couple of control C's, run it again. Like that. It sometimes takes a couple to pick up. There it goes. EV is not defined because I mistyped up here. In this, it's not. It's called event. Post event. There you go. There goes, picked up. So it's not time between date, time, and float. So this is important. We always want to have a nice round number. So just do a double there. And actually, you actually want to do time delta seconds equals that. Do it right. I should really put see, it's got that 0. It's got that 0 set there, which means I've done it wrong. I don't want that. Single divide, it will get a fractional second. I think time symbol can take a fraction. Okay, so we've got new time there in fractions of a second. So that's coming through nicely. Display is messing up slightly, which is always fun. That's because I've set this to a fraction of a second. I don't want that. I actually want that to be minutes. Because you get a heartbeat every minute, so that looks about right. The time between pulses is 40 seconds, 43 seconds, and that's changing over time. Why the animation's a bit messed up, we can look at, but that's fundamentally the two things now linked together. That looks like a good time between pulses. That equates to what? Equates to the high pulse rate I had a minute ago, to be honest with you, of apparently 89. So yeah, that looks about the right kind of pulse rate. Now, if you want to print it off, you can then do a font load and do the font display at the top. But fundamentally, that is the animation. I am a bit worried about why the animation is jumping so fast, and that suggests that I've got my my step calculation wrong. Because it should really be going quite gently across. Now that calculation is done here last time is greater than time between pulses, and the time between pulses is 1 second. That is 38 seconds there, which is wrong. I'm sure that should be seconds equals. Seconds equals 60 over speed. for some reason my oh, you know what I've done? There we go. I've used a variable. And then this time, there we go. I've now actually got a heart rate monitor which does it. And again, I'll just show you this one more time. What we can now do is, ooh, don't want to drag the wrong thing. What we can now do is use this here. I can now add heartbeat as a new device. So I can do video window capture, add source, a new source, because this is a new add source. I wanted to capture my heart 2, which looks like that. Done that, and then I want to change the filters. And I've grabbed it at the top here, so not over the last video. I keep doing it over the top of everything else, so you can't see what I'm doing. Add a new filter. I want to chroma key it, and I want to use a custom chroma key of black. Done. And then you get this beautiful heartbeat, especially if I get out of the way and then put it at the top. You can then see I've got this beautiful heart rate going over the top really nicely. And then you can then start bringing, maybe you want to bring the heart rate as a font in. And if I just relax, apparently I can't relax, I'm on camera. A couple of timeouts there. I can't relax. This is what it comes down to. So whilst I go and have a heart attack, I'm going to call it there for this video. It's a nice short video. It was 22 minutes. Sorry about the mix up when we're doing some bad maths in the middle of it, but that's the fundamental of linking the ANT thread into the heartbeat monitor. Knock yourselves out. If you go and build this, let me know how it goes. Let me know what you build. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, please tell your friends if you really like it, or leave me a comment as well. Love to get the comments. And yeah, that's it. I am going to do one more video of how to clean this script up, and I'll show you my actual release as a part 3. But that was it. That was a hacky guide to using the ANT protocol. Notice, notice how this chroma key here looks bad, but actually when it's chroma keyed, it comes out absolutely spot on. Play around with those numbers, play around with the colors, play around with what works for you, and yeah, have fun, knock yourselves out. All right. Till next time.